RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. Back at it again, round two. Looking forward to connecting. And sorry, I running a little bit late. Had to clean up some stuff on the back end, as well as went down a rabbit hole of just finding out more information about this whole tax agenda and how this Pandora paper situation is just just more entertaining news to hit the airways that is right on time for more of the globalist agenda or of trying to orchestrate and push out those tax schemes. But anyway, lots of other stories worth touching on. Curious to hear what you guys have on your radar. So feel free to do that. We're going to connect a little bit. Got about 4 or 5, maybe 6 articles worth touching on. Then I'll open up the phone lines and I would love to hear from you guys directly. So before I dive down these articles here, let me know where you're watching from via the chat. And then when the phone line open up, 313-462-0027 is the number to let your voice be heard. And let's plug in, man. So for those just tuning in, man, hit the thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. Hopefully get a couple more people notified. That's the whole goal, but we'll make it work. And speaking of which, I'm not sure, is Facebook up and running yet or what? And all those other apps. Let me know. I haven't checked in. Okay, so let me see what's going on. We got JoJo. We got WTI Emergency checking in. Preparedness 1 says we're under a major cyber attack and distribution centers for goods are down. Okay, that is something worth keeping an eye on. Appreciate you for checking in with that one. Tony Bila says, what is the RTD email? RTD email. Okay, good deal. Let me put that out there. So it's rtdnews@protonmail.com. And I'll put that on the screen. Let me see here. And so that's a way to share articles, stories, or whatnot. Allows me to be able to grab it from credible sources and share it via the on screen here while we're chit chatting. So what else we got here? We got S400. We got Jay Ham checking in. We got Chris, Ed, DC Precise, Jay, Faith Parent, the Great Fomos checking in. We got Mr. Steve, Faith Parent. Okay, fair amount of people here, man. So as always, the goal is to when the phone lines open up, let your voice be heard. So I'm curious to hear what you keep an eye on. Lots of stories worth touching on. Just want to come across some things that caught my attention on the airways today and share my thoughts on it. And Barley Broker says, I'm ready for war. Man, I don't like to hear about that one. But at this current moment, anything is possible. Anything is possible when they're trying to execute this great reset. All things on the table. Gray beard. Yeah. Yeah, it's just I'm starting to like a little bit, so I'm gonna play around with it, see how long I can get it. All right, so I want to just jump right in and just touch on the just this website that, to my knowledge, the best way to get an idea is how old it is. Scroll to the very bottom, and you get a chance to see some information. And basically, the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists out of Washington, D.C. I don't know nothing about this organization, but to me, I haven't heard of it. Let me know if you guys have heard of it. But it's on the scene now over the weekend. And of course, it's up and running. It's loaded. And apparently, as they say, 600 or some journalists, 100 plus countries have been collaborating, trying to comb through all these papers that was provided by who, I don't know, but very interesting. October 3rd, this is up. So here we are a day later, and it's gaining a lot of attention, and a lot of light has been shined on all types of politicians throughout the planet that's been parts of all types of funny money laundering and all types of stuff which, as of now, to my knowledge, other than just being shady business by politicians, nothing new. But it just gives more insights into what's going on here. And of course, all these celebrities' names popping up. And so we'll see what happens with that. But one of my things, the first thing that caught my mind when all this stuff jumped off was, why now? Unless it's a part of a greater agenda. And nothing is ever by coincidence. It's all a part of a scheme to push the current agendas forward. And so they need some new, fresh momentum, especially here in the U.S., but more importantly for the global attempt at trying to raise taxes on those that have profited off of this system thus far. And it's, as they say, those that make 400,000 and above is the people they want to focus on, which is a small majority. But that's a way to get the people below that on board, saying that it's time for them to pay their fair share. And it'll push all that further, greater taxation right through with a little bit of resistance because the people will support it, even though it's already a part of the politicians' plans to do it, because this is how Biden is trying to say that by posing all these taxes on the rich, it's going to be paid for. The infrastructure, the Build Back Better is going to be paid for according to those people. So interesting information. But as I just comb through some of the airways here, here's more information as to some things that's being revealed. So it said the countries with the most politicians named in the Pandora Papers. And as you scroll down here, it gives you an idea as to who, what, and where. But let me see, by the numbers. Let me go back here. By the numbers, it says Ukraine leads with 38 politicians named in the Pandora paper. The top 5 are Ukraine, Russia, Honduras, United Emirates, and Nigeria. So these 5 countries here are leading the way with the most politicians as well as everybody else. But as I mentioned in our first little rant, all these people here are literally just puppets. They're puppets that were sacrificed, been willing to throw under the bus for the greater agenda, which is to have each nation now. So the goal is having all these nations here. It makes it that much easier for that deal that was, struck earlier this year about the corporate taxation, amongst many other types of taxations they're going to try to roll out there. Makes it go a lot faster, a lot smoother, because you'll see all these people here who are allegedly getting away by using all these tax loopholes or whatnot. It makes it easier to push these agendas. So you definitely expect to have more momentum. And then here's another article out today, and it's from Bloomberg. It says, tax the rich era in the Nordics is showing signs of a comeback. And so here we are in Norway, in this region over here, Norway, Denmark, and Finland. Look at measures to target the wealthy. Oh, what a coincidence. The day after these papers are released, now we have 3 nations talking about trying to impose taxes on the rich. Oh, are we surprised? Then it gives a little bit more information down here as to what's going on. And let me acknowledge the super chat here. Sheepdog Network. I appreciate the lovers, the generous offer, my friend. And what we got here says, I listened to the Robert Kiyosaki video. Sounded interesting. He came out confident with his market crash predictions. However, Gregory Mannarino is saying that it will not happen this month, that the Fed has much more debt to continue to accumulate. Stay blessed. Yeah. And outside of Robert Kiyosaki, it's definitely an attention grabber. And it definitely causes a lot of people to look in that direction and to get riled up over the fact that things are not looking shaky. Things are looking rather shaky right now. So as far as an October crash, November, December, whenever, at this current moment, all the pieces of a puzzle are in place for something to go wrong. And the people that's trying to control all this and orchestrate this could possibly lose control. And so my mindset is that I'm not looking forward to, I'm not excited about any type of crash, because that's going to really restructure and reshape our entire lives. But yet I was going to talk earlier about this whole debt cliff. And so I saw somebody comment on the video earlier about, how come no one's talking about the debt cliff? I'm like, well, technically speaking, they're more than likely going to raise that debt limit, because the only way, as Biden said earlier, they can pay back prior bills from all congressmen, all prior presidents, was to continue to meet obligations. And it's based upon expenditures that are already promised. And if it's not met, so they're setting the time frame saying that this week they're going to try to have something done, whether it's just to raise the debt limit or just to suspend it, which basically allows the bills to be paid in proportion to what's owed. And so no matter what, they're more than likely going to pass it. So the debt limit is not really a concern, because it's a Ponzi scheme. It exposes more and more of how the only way this thing can continue to move forward is if more debt is brought out. So whether it's now, whether it's next year, who knows? But all the pieces are in play. And speaking of which, appreciate you for sharing that, bringing it to my attention, because here is something else that plays right into how things are picking up and more of the dominoes are starting to fall apart. And so just today, as I mentioned earlier today, here's the Chinese property developer Fantasia misses a debt payment. So here we have what I'm aware of as the second Chinese property development company that's pretty major, missing payments. So missing payments is somebody else's assets, and more than likely that's leveraged, up to wazoo. So somebody's going to owe somebody that owes somebody, and that stuff's not getting paid right now. So here we have the next possible Chinese domino to fall. And of course, today or last night, trading was halted because of all this stuff that's unfolding right now. But as of right now, Fantasia Holding Group's company didn't repay 205.7 million bond that was due on Monday, today or yesterday for them, according to a company statement. Separately, property management company, country, whatever said that a unit of Fantasia didn't repay 700 million, 108 loan that was came due on Monday. So yeah, this is another company not making due on their debts. So debt is the issue, and there's no way around it. You can only kick the can down the road further in hopes of trying to keep confidence in the system. But as of right now, with China having their issues, the European nations having their issues, and everybody else, I'm not too worried or concerned about the timing of the crash. I just know that something is already breaking. But in between now and then, if you're expecting that to happen, the goal is to ramp up more of the activity that you need to do to cushion yourself and help hopefully preserve, protect, and to minimize. You can't completely avoid. You can minimize some of the risk that you might come across, because ultimately borrowing cost is going to go up. So every aspect of your life that's endowed in with debt, we're going to find out how that all plays out, whether or not, companies or creditors are willing to renegotiate some of that debt, or they're going to just write it off, or who knows. We're going to find out together. But we'll see whether Robert Kiyosaki is correct. Gregory Manarino, at some point, you keep prophesying about this type of stuff, it's going to come true. Anyway, rambling too much. Let me see. Shane says 400K is a minority. Yeah, it's a very small group, but Shane, in my opinion, it starts off. Those are the numbers that they're trying to use to sell this idea of raising taxes, because you'll never be able to really run on or promise or even advertise higher taxes unless you target it towards a specific group, which happens to be the minority of those that make 400,000 and more. But mind you, the uber wealthy don't pay taxes just because of how the tax system was set up, to where they're able to go fly under the radar because of how they structure their personal lives within their corporations. And then on top of that, you have the dividends, you have all those extra avenues of income that never is reported as personal earned income. So therefore, there's not much really to tax on those guys, and they'll never change those backdoor loopholes that the uber wealthy use. They'll just use the tax the income, like as in personal income, the way that the majority happen to earn income. And that's what they're talking about. So those are the rules of the game they're trying to rewrite now. But the only way they can sell it is by saying that we're going after the uber wealthy. And just to show you that this is, of course, nothing new, let me just go ahead and pull out a couple things here that just points in that direction as to why this Pandora paper fiasco is about pumping the taxation agenda. And so this is from a couple of days ago, but once again, this subject matter was like last week, but here we are the week after, and this agenda on taxes or on the need to tax, because there's people who are getting away with murder, as they probably would say it. But says Biden calls on rich to step up and pay fair share in taxes, despite report that he didn't. Right. So whatever that's worth. And then let's not forget. Let me see. Go back here. Let me refresh this one. It says Barack Obama says we can afford. So I'm not sure if he's talking about himself now that he's up in that higher echelons or what, but not. It says Barack Obama says that we can't afford to tax the rich for Joe Biden's infrastructure plan. So we can't afford it. I'm assuming he's talking about himself. But once again, when you got a person that's excited and promoting getting taxed, that makes me wonder big time, because who really wants to pay taxes? If they really were paying taxes, who would want to voluntarily pay more? Not sure. And then let me see. There's another article here. Let me grab it. So here's an article here. It came out today. Oh, same time the Pandora papers came out. It says Biden's plans to tax rich people like me is the best way to grow the economy. So whoever this is referring to, I didn't get a chance to read it, but whoever's writing this supposedly is saying that it's okay. It's people like me who deserve to pay more taxes in order to help grow the economy. So people volunteering to pay more taxes. Come on now, that's not right. Something's wrong there. Something smells mighty foul, if you might ask me. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But anyway, let's keep moving right along, people. So more subjects. I got more subjects worth touching on. Let me see here. So TB, I see. Let me see. Please get this out to give me what we got here. Affidavit. Let me see here. So this affidavit here. So TB, let me know what this is. Let me see. Let me grab it. So what I'll do, because I can't. Let me see. I don't know if I can open it up on the screen. But TB, when I open the phone lines, call in, let me know, and then I'll make sure it's in the Discord and on the Telegram. Let me know. Okay, so let's dive right in, man. So feel free to let's just touch on any subject matter. I got a couple articles here, and here's just some more things that came across my radar today, and let me know what's on your mind. Food stamps just got boosted by a record 30%. Here's what it means for families. So ultimately, if you're on the SNAP program, says roughly 42 million people representing 12% of the U.S. rely on SNAP benefits, says they'll see their monthly accounts increase by 30% on average. So I'm not sure if that's that's definitely a form of stimulus. And so there's some figures out here. So it says that on average, recipient gets an additional $36.24 per month or $1.19 per day. So the typical monthly benefit is rising from $121 to $157. At the same time, items on the shelves are also going up 7, 8, 9%. So is that really much of an adjustment? You might be able to get maybe one more item out of all that in your typical shopping cart. So yeah, it's the biggest boost of all time. And this is something I mentioned earlier that is going to be worth keeping an eye on, because the Fed to launch their CBDC review as early as this week. And what's interesting about this is that officials at the Fed are set to release a paper soliciting public comment. And so, as I mentioned earlier, whenever this is announced and whenever they put up the little website to go give feedback and comments, I think we all should definitely blow that page up and let them know what we think and as to how we don't really want a CBDC. And it's not as if it really matters, because they're not really looking for our opinion. They're just trying to make it appear as if they're trying to get, participation from us, we the people who are going to be using it or something like that. So anyway, just something worthwhile. But anyway, let's talk, man. I've been ranting long enough. Open the phone lines. I'm curious to hear what's on your mind. Lots of stories to touch on. And feel free to call in and let's talk. Let me get this number up here, and then we can talk. Feel free to chime in on any subject matter relevant to what we're experiencing. And of course, due to the wording of certain things, we can't discuss in its entirety. So I ask that you use code language, you know what I mean, about this participation and the experimentation and all that good stuff. Here's something from Jay. It says, looks like China and Taiwan are about to go to war. Hopefully the U.S. isn't dragged into cleaning up their mess. Jay. Okay, so that's one other subject worth touching on. Let me go ahead and find out what's the latest on that, because I have not, other than just hearing some articles. Let me see what's new. What's new in the field today? Feel free. It says Taiwan says need to alert. Man. Okay, so here's some interesting subjects here. Yeah, and this is just one event out of many. It says Taiwan says needs to be on alert to over the top China. Okay, that's something worthwhile there. All right, let me see who this is, and let me show this here, and then I'll jump right in. So here's just some of the headlines. China has sent over 800 flights toward Taiwan since Friday in a show of force. And the U.S. is an ally of Taiwan, so it's good to say we will definitely get involved in that type of mess if something comes down to it. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Let me make sure I got somebody here. On hold. Forgive me. Let me get this right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get you. All right. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's 313 Wayne. What's going on, Mike?
313 Wayne. I'm doing good, my friend. What's on your mind tonight?
Not much. I just wanted to mention something about the rich wanting to be taxed, right?
Mm-hmm.
please don't pay attention to these fools, these puppets. They out there just as front people for the corporate structure. It's not the people that need to be taxed. It's the person.
Mm-hmm.
It's the corporate tax structure. It's the Amazons of the world, not the Bezos.
Yeah.
The Amazons of the world. And all other distractions out there, right?
Yeah.
It's just the overlay for the underplay. Please be vigilant.
Hey, good stuff,
all right,
man.
Brother.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, good stuff, man. All right, give me a call. I missed a couple calls. Forgive me, but we'll get you on here. And then also, or just, highlight at Rethinking a Dollar. It'll stand out. And then I will put it up here and we can touch on it. It says, good article today on Zero Hedge. Shipping rates from China to U.S. are dropping. Why? Because China has started cutting off goods to USA at any price. Oh, rough. Okay. That is something worth considering. But here's the issue. You can lower the cost. And if trade was to start flowing again, as of right now, due to the outright stoppage of them allowing ships into the port, the boys would just clog up the ocean and wouldn't really move much because they're not letting them things in for all types of reasons. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from?
Hey, Mike. This is Chris from LA in the UK.
Chris from LA in the UK. What's going on, my friend? What's on your mind?
Just decided to check in. I haven't called in a while. Things are happening out here, so decided to call in and talk about how people are putting gas in plastic bags and they're pulling knives on each other.
Ooh. And so this is in Cali or in the UK? Where you at? Where you at now?
Nah, this is in UK. I haven't been to Cali. I haven't been back to Cali in a couple of years.
Okay, so you're in the UK. So cats pulling knives on gasoline bags, really?
No. They're pulling knives on each other because they're fighting over trying to get gas.
Yeah.
There's not enough gas for people to get, so most of the gas stations are closed. So people are in the parking lot fighting and pulling knives on each other.
Yes. So I'm also hearing about how people siphoning gas from people's cars in front of the house.
Oh yeah.
So it's like that, huh?
Yeah, it's really like that. The lines are probably almost a quarter of a mile long or something like that, maybe a half a mile. I mean, it's getting really bad when it comes to gas. So I think people are only allowed to get 35 pounds worth, which is probably like $45 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, people, when there's not enough of something to go around, people get aggressive. So one guy pulled a knife on somebody that was waiting on his turn in the gas line because he wanted to go first. I guess the guy cut him off or something.
Mm-hmm. So what? So I got
getting active.
Yeah, I got an article on the screen right now about the British government calling the UK, calling the army to help, I guess, drive the truck. So, so give me that. So I was talking to Mario, I think about last week about the whatever the drivers are that's supposed to be, in shortage over there, drivers. And so there's no there's no gas truck circulating. So the army's being brought in. According to what you're seeing and how you see things, is this really what's going on, or this is a spin on what is really not being told type of thing? What do you take on this?
I think it's a bunch of nonsense. Because I got friends that are drivers.
Mm-hmm.
I got a few friends that, like they're, husbands and different things. Different people are truck drivers. So I got enough people out here I know.
Mm-hmm.
I have a network that'll kind of tell me things, and
mm-hmm.
nobody. They said that they're going to give truck drivers like $80,000 a year, which is probably like maybe 100 in America or a little bit more or something like that.
Yeah.
But most truck drivers aren't seeing any increase in salaries or anything like that. Most of them are doing the same things they've always done. So I think it's an excuse. I think
where's their income come?
They've been blaming it on Brexit.
So so I heard Brexit is a part of the excuse as well. But for those that I guess are not working, former truck drivers that are saying, it's not enough, I'm not doing it, then what? Like, it's just side hustles, or is there any government subsidy, like getting stimulus checks over there too, or if they got to feed themselves, what the hell's going on?
They're not going to give stimulus checks over here. The most they'll give you over here is a discount. They were trying to stimulate the economy before by giving people, what they call it, I forgot what they used to have, like certain days where they'll give people like 50% off on restaurants and things like that, just to sort of stimulate. But they're not like the U.S. that are going to give us free money. That's not going to happen over here. But the truck driver thing, I think is really an excuse, because they blamed it on Brexit.
Mm-hmm.
They've been talking about food shortages. I haven't really saw that lately, but I've seen some of the shelves have been kind of little empty lately, but not like they're trying to make it out in the media. They want you to believe that we over here starving and there's absolutely no gas. But I think there's been sort of a rumor. They've been saying like some of the gas has been old or something, so they've been trying to create some demand. I mean, everybody got some reason of why they think this is happening, but I think it's to control the narrative maybe early, or they got to come up with an excuse for inflation, so maybe they'll do it early now, and later on when it happens they'll blame it on something. They'll blame it on Brexit.
But what about, so you also got the energy situation with natural gas for heating your homes, electricity, and all types of stuff. Like just energy itself over there seems to be a primary topic these days, from what I'm seeing and hearing. So they already told us that the national insurance, which is pretty much like federal in the U.S. or something like that, they've already told us that that's going to go up next year, going into 2023. Council tax, which is pretty much like property tax, that's going to go up, and then they say energy is going to go up like 20% this year. Yeah, whoo, baby, that's going to put a pinch on people's pockets for sure.
Everything I've been prophesizing to people is happening. So energy is going to go up. Certain things are going to go up. They're going to spin it. They're going to say, "Oh, Brexit's the reason." Brexit out here is the main excuse for everything. People buy into that. They'll believe it's because of Brexit and whatever the excuse. People are more passive out here. They're not like the U.S. that's going to tear up something. People are more basically obedient to the government out here. They're not going to really. No, I can't say that. If
stuff gets bad, I'm sure they get out of
it. They're acting up in London as far as the protests. People aren't with this
mandate
vaccine passport thing. No, they're not okay with that out here.
Well, hey,
France,
man.
It's bad.
I've been seeing lots of videos. I try to share them as best I can, man. But hey, I appreciate you calling, man. Keep us posted on what's happening. Problem. It's always good to hear from you, boss.
Oh yeah. And I got my stuff back just to let you know.
Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations. A lot of people right now still trying to fight and get theirs back.
So I'm happy about that.
All right, man. Be good.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So he was one of the community members that had some metal in those vaults or deposit boxes in Cali that got raided. And so it looks like, he was telling us in the community that the FBI, worked with him and got him his medals and stuff back. So he was, one of the blessed ones to be able to get their stuff back. But there's still people fighting, trying to get their stuff back. Hello, Carlos. Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Ed, Mike. How you doing?
Ed, I'm doing good, my friend. What's on your mind tonight?
Let me lay down this story real quick for you. I had a young guy, a friend of the family, join the Reserve Air Force. Was in for 7 months. He did his basic. Then they trained him for his job, and then he was supposed to get out and go back to college. Well, the last 2 months he was in there, they kept threatening, "You got to get the jab. You got to get the jab. You got to get the jab." Well, it came down to about 2 weeks to come home. They said, "You ain't going home. You're going to get the shot, or you're going to get prosecuted. You're going to spend about 3 or 4 or 5 months in the brig, and then we're going to give you a dishonorable discharge. Or if you want to file as a objection to your religion, we'll drag that out for 6 months for you." And we got people out here cutting grass with scissors and sweeping up stuff that ain't on the ground, and you can do that. They said they let him sleep 4 hours a day. So they pressured this kid, and he's from a conservative, hardcore family. He's a tough kid.
Yeah.
They pressured him so bad that he took the jab.
Man, like, wow. That is, jeez. So but with all that pressure and the way they literally are just making sure that the armed services participate, makes you wonder why do they have to, what's their ultimate agenda to make sure every person in the military is jabbed? Of course, we have.
I've been,
Go ahead.
Since I talked to him, since I talked to him today, I started thinking about this a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm thinking is they're taking out the strong.
Mm.
The strong are the ones that resist the most.
Yeah.
And they're the most conservative. But
Yeah.
he said he was down in Texas at some big fort down there, some Air Force base, and he said everybody down there thinks that that they're priming up for a war, just everything that they've been doing. And I think the guys that are already in are probably treated a little bit better, but this is what they're doing to recruits.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a damn shame that, it's basically illegal what they're doing, but because they're the military and these are young guys and,
Yeah.
They're getting away with it. They're getting away with murder. And, it's going to come back, Rand Paul said resist. And I think we'll be resisting in the streets. I hope that's not what they want. But, I'm starting to let all this other stuff slide and start thinking about, if this thing really comes down, man, they'll probably end the fire up a war. And I know nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I appreciate you for calling and sharing that, man. That's a very sad story, man. And he's not the only one that's being forced and pressured. And of course, it's optional, but yet they try to cut off all exits to where it appears that you have no choice. Because I'm sure he didn't want to go to the brig, or he didn't want to do manual labor with scissors and stuff. So he just felt that was the only way out. But it's unfortunate that his so-called leadership put him in that position. But yeah, I saw a video.
Yeah.
I actually posted on Telegram, I think, and even in Discord about. It was some type of Zoom meeting between some Asian Chinese officials and politicians. They were talking about, they had the subtitles, whatever, but they were saying how, as a part of this whole experiment, the goal was ultimately to make sure they weaken the military by making sure they participate. And they went through some steps as to why that's important, because it makes us weak. Like, you take out our army, then we're vulnerable. And so if that is true, then I would assume the military generals and colonels, they're putting all that pressure on the people in the military for that reason, because they were told. And of course, this all has to do with power being transitioned to the east. So it's unfortunate that literally our military is taking orders probably from the east now, as far as this whole agenda is concerned.
Two more things real quick, Mike. I think they're doing it because the ones that are left will follow commands easier. They'll do things they don't really want to do because they're commanded. And man, just the basic mind training and conditioning in the military is bad. The last thing I want to say is, Mike, we got a supernatural God.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
And we need to pray that anyone who was forced to take this back, that God will nullify the negative effect.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can get in agreement with that, man. We definitely close out with that prayer tonight, my man. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Mike. Bye.
Yep. Yeah. That's definitely something to lift up in prayer, man. Put the power on it. Woo-wee, that's something, man. That's unfortunate. But anyway, let's talk, man. What else is on your mind? Feel free to give me a call. Missing some calls. Let's try to get more calls in while we can. Let me see here. Let me get this one here. So let's try to make this. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mike, Tony from Oakland.
B, doing good, man. One more time, boss, man. We're doing it.
Right.
You got me saying it. Try to beat you to the punchline.
No, it's a good saying, man, and we still trying to get back to where we came from.
Oh man, wouldn't it be nice? What's going on with you, man?
We're gonna get back to Eden. No, I sent you earlier. I sent you a thing called an affidavit.
Yeah.
I would encourage everyone, and I don't mind if you have my email address to get that instead of doing a religious exemption, because I'm afraid that they're going to go after the church at some point in time during this whole thing.
Yeah,
and you have to file an affidavit exemption, and it gives case laws, it gives rights and constitutional rights, and an affidavit is a certified legal document. And whereas the church that sends you something and says that they don't believe in this, okay, that's fine. You still got to take it.
Yeah.
But if you let them know that these are my rights and this is what I have for my rights, and you have it certified, a notary.
Yeah.
It's all it needs is a certified notary.
Yeah.
And you send one to certified mail to your employer, or who's ever forcing you to do this, and you give them one in person.
Yeah.
And once they receive that's good as gold.
Okay. So I got it on the screen right now as you're speaking. So what I'll do is I will put this in the Discord. So you put in the Discord already?
I couldn't get it in Discord. I couldn't figure out how to do that. And I really didn't try hard, but
okay.
I guess I could try to put it in there. You're too many words. There's too many words for it, too many letters.
Okay. So I will definitely put it in Telegram, and then I'll try to figure out how to put it somewhere myself. But anyway, so I'll put it up here so people who are hearing this look for it in Telegram as well as in the Discord sometime tonight. So we'll put it up there. But yeah, good stuff, man.
And that's good as gold.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you, man.
Brother, keep your head up.
All right, be good.
Bye.
Yeah. So for those that are interested and want to find out more about this, as I mentioned, Telegram and Discord will be up there tonight after we stream. So you guys can check it out if you're interested. So just a little bit of a tidbit, little nuggets from TB, fellow community member. Let me see here. So JBW says that Catherine Arthur Fitz has that on her website as well. Okay. So that's another thing. At Catherine Arthur Fitz website, I've been over there a couple of times and it was hard to navigate to find some of those documentations she was talking about. So I definitely will figure it out at some point. But if there's something you can copy and paste, put in the Discord or put in the Telegram group. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
What's going on, Mike? Dwayne from the Midwest.
Wayne from the Midwest. What's going on, man?
Not much. Mike, I'm telling you, I think we about to go into like this winter, and I'm just saying people be prayed up and get really serious. You know, I know we talk about the markets and stuff, and we all love talking about the market, making gains and whatnot, but we got to get really serious because this sounds to me like war. Like I've studied war and read up on war. This is something like me, the eye before the storm for war. To me, when you look at China with that company that they have, that real estate company they have, their back is really up against the wall. Yeah. Because that company is sitting on some gold, and they're gonna have to use that gold. So to me, they don't want to use that gold priced in the way it's priced right now. Yeah. So if you know that you're sitting up on a pile of gold and you know it's about to blow up, you need for that price to move. So to me, China is like a cat in a corner or a dragon in a corner right now. That's why you see they're doing a lot of provoking. Yeah. You see them right now, they're doing a lot of provoking. I think they're more so ready to push it to the limit than anybody else that I think, because they need that to bail out. They need the repricing of the commodities in order to satisfy debt. What are your thoughts?
I agree with that. And I was going to actually put a chart from Tavi Costa, who was basically talking about how I think the S&P commodities index or something like that, or it was one of those index forms he put out there, and how majority of those metals that are not manipulated, copper, platinum, all those other metals are doing exceptionally well. And the only two that's not following suit happens to be gold and, most importantly, silver. They're lagging behind significantly. And then also I saw something about the Shanghai exchange and how they deal in physical gold. And as of right now, the premium for them to actually be able to deliver metals from their vaults is way higher than what the spot price is from the COMEX and LBMA, to where there's a disconnect between the Eastern Hemisphere and the Western Hemisphere on price. So I'm more than confident that all activity when it comes to metal, in particular gold, until something breaks and we're able to get to a true price of what the world can agree upon, not what the West continues to manipulate price-wise, then everything right now is going to be up in the air. So I saw an article earlier, I'm a little bit everywhere, but India imported 690% more gold over the last year or something like that. So they're literally trying to buy time so nations can still get their weight up as well. So until they lose control of this or just turn it over to China, then I think the gold prices and silver prices will still lag behind, buying more time for people to still use opportunity to get it. So I think if that answers the question at all, a little bit everywhere right there.
Yeah, no, that I'm saying that's the point that I'm getting off. Because that's been my whole theory with the ships. If China's blowing up, the US where they at, UK where they at. If you're shipping product, you might not want to unload your ship. Yeah. You might say, listen, I'll just keep my ships at bay until we can come up with a price to some type of exchange.
You're right. Yeah.
So that that's where we are, man. The best thing that people, I'm glad to see people chiming in and really depending on God, because He's the only one that's going to get us through this time. And guess what? He's on record of being a deliverer. There is no other. When you talk about the Bible, there is no other God I don't mean to disrespect anybody else's religion. Mm-hmm. There is no other God that has ever delivered a nation from another nation.
Yeah, I can ride with that.
You can't find another God.
I can ride with that.
All right, take it easy.
Appreciate you, man. Good to hear from you. Yep.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and so that's another issue as well. All those ships is backed up. Maybe it could be literally a payment issue. Especially you got all these trillions on the table, 1.9, 3.5 debt ceiling. At some point, why would you continue to accept debt notes when you know those debt notes are automatically they're basically counterfeit currency? Why would you continue to accept those things? There has to be a new way of discovering a price discovery rather for goods and services beyond Federal Reserve notes, in my opinion. And that could be around the corner. Let me get this call. Let me see here. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's low blood pressure. Corpus
Christi. LBP. You doing good, man? What's up with you?
Man, not much, man. I got a theory about this shipping crisis with all the containers on the port outside.
Give it to me. What you got?
Look. I just heard Dwayne saying something about he thinks people are holding on for higher prices. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I don't think that's the case because all those goods already have owners. The importers already paid for all that, so they need to hurry up and make the money.
Yeah.
They probably got all that on credit. Anyway, this is my theory, man. I think the U.S. Customs and the U.S. government is looking for something in those containers. That's just me. There's something in there that's interesting, So, who knows what it is?
So I saw those little graphs or whatnot, but it's like thousands. It's like the high thousands. You literally think they're like going through combing them things, looking for something. What they say?
I think they're going. Look, when the importers import, they only check like 10% of the goods. U.S. Customs. They don't check every container.
Yeah.
I think every container is being X-rayed for something. Yeah. That's just the theory I got because there's no way they're gonna. There's no way. All that, look, those people at the ports, they work more than 600 feet from each other. That's how much social distancing they got. Because that guy's up in the air with a crane in the sky. The forklift drivers, the huge forklifts, like the container is one-man show. The person overseeing it all is all in a cameras, in a central control room. So to say that it's because of people not working and social distancing, all that, that's all a lie,
No doubt. And as you're talking, I pulled up this article. It says as many as 500,000 shipping containers could be waiting off the ports in LA and Long Beach. So 500,000 shipping containers. That's a lot of shipping containers to be going through. So those goods are I think they're literally being withheld. And I've heard people talking about regulatory framework and, of course, the health protocols. Some ships are on quarantine and all that other crap. So there's probably 3 or 4 different reasons as to why. But the greater agenda is to make sure none of those goods get in this country because they literally want empty shelves in the same way that there's reports that, government's paying farmers to destroy crops and all that. So that plays into literally like trying to starve out the people for a reason of it'll make it that much more easier to push the agenda of having everybody participate and accept whatever they throw at you. If you're hungry, you're starving, and then you'll be more compliant with what they want. But if you're still living good, still comfortable, and you still got your guns in your hands, you're more than likely going to continue to resist. But if you're hungry and thirsty, you'll give in. And that's what I think they're trying to do with this. So we'll see, man.
Another real quick thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Another real quick thing, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, a lot of people think, well, this is what I thought, and like you hold your metals, you wait till the price skyrockets, and then you sell and you buy goods, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing, another strategy that I got is like the price of all the goods are going to go in proportion with metals. Maybe metals will outpace them, but they're going to be running together. So the trick is to get in debt now, max everything out like the government does. Yeah. And then when they skyrocket, you pay them back with half an ounce. That's my strategy.
The LBP plan. Yeah. And so definitely people who have used debt to their advantage in the way that you're referring to for what you're doing, as well as those that are leveraged up to the wazoo, they don't plan on probably paying it back, or they just file for bankruptcy. And I mean, it's shady.
You bury your metals, Mike.
It's shady, but that's what a lot of people do, especially, when people are upside down in their houses, they're not paying nothing back, man. I got family members who walked away from their houses the last crisis, so they'd be willing to do it again if need be. So
They'll give you another one, Mike. You walk away from your house, they just wait a year or two. They'll give you another one. They'll think you're stupid.
Exactly. Hey, man, good hearing from you, boss.
All right, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Oh, man. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Maybe not. All right. Give me a call. Let's talk. A lot of great thoughts, man. I like the laughs and giggles, man. It's always good to throw in a little humor every now and then. I see some BTC gains. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Maybe not. Somebody hung up. Okay. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Let's try this one more time. If not, we will keep moving. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, good evening. This is Latrice from Brooklyn.
Latrice from Brooklyn. What's going on with you? Give me a quick thought.
All right. I would like to remind everybody that taxes is a voluntary contribution.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that was settled with the United States Supreme Court somewhere within the last half century.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole scheme about taxing the rich and that person sounded like they was willing to volunteer their contribution to paying taxes, it feeds that type of, that argument, if anybody wanted to make that type of legal thesis for argument.
Mm-hmm.
But something else. Cassie Wood said, she talked about deflation, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was making the argument that instead of us seeing inflation, we would see deflation.
Right.
She said that right now we're experiencing a time in history like no other because we're having a convergence of all these things of, the modernization of technology and all that stuff.
Right.
And what I feel like she was trying to say, discreetly and in a nice way though, with, packaged with the bow on top, is that being that a lot of people are part of this great experimentation to, become transhumanized.
Right.
If you're going to be under the control of somebody's, press of the button switch, like on a keyboard, you're not gonna, it's not gonna be this great human demand, right? Like how you said, because I said the same thing. If everything is just trying to funnel the herds or the sheeple into, the slaughterhouse. One thing is connected to the other. So if they hold off on the shipping supplies, then they can force the people to want to have to come to the government. This is why people like Bill Gates and them is buying up land, because it's like that movie Ringo a long time ago with Johnny Depp. He was the gecko, and they said, he who owns the water rules the people, right? So it's almost like the Rothschild thing. I don't care who makes the laws, just let me get the money and you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Another thing with China, their military, even though they got the numbers, they don't got the manpower. When they went through that one child policy for so many years, and the male child was preferred.
Yeah,
their men are like soy boys. This is why they saying that Xi Jinping is trying to crack down on effeminate men and all this other stuff, and it would play. They can't beat India because the men in India, they're used to like the cold region climates, like in the Himalayas and stuff like that. The people from China, they can't take cold weather. The military men, they're just good for marching in the streets and holding and looking tough. But when it come down to it, they haven't really been to war, so they're not men of war. They're not built for war.
Right.
So the idea for men like our citizens or so-called citizens who have been out to war or participated in those types of exercises where they actually had to really shoot a gun and they had to actually lay their life on the line, that would make for a threat. So it makes sense to try to weaken the population. But overall, all this stuff is to lead us into the one world government, one world religion, one world currency. And this is why we can't, I go down many rabbit holes too. But as a constant reminder, we all have to always remind ourselves that besides God being in control and in his plan, that for us, while we're getting this reprieve and we're getting the ability to see these things, because we're the ones who's woke right now, paying attention and warning the masses, we got to stay vigilant to remember to stay focused and repent. We have to keep our eyes fixated, not just on the kids of the world, but on what is coming, because the judgment is for the whole world. It's not just for a select few. These people are doing what they do because they believe the scriptures. That's why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Very true.
They're not doing it because they think that they're just going to profit in some other type of way. So everything they're doing is really just to funnel it in because they want to see their God come into, his kingdom and sit upon his throne. Yeah. And the enemy, he's playing them like a fiddle. They think they're going to get something. The wealthy is selling their property left and right. And it's all these different things that, unless you're paying attention to all the different bouncing balls, you wouldn't even notice.
Right.
So that's it. I posted some stuff in the Telegram community.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
Something like what TB was saying about what the affidavit, and the argument that I was making was, besides people trying to make a religious or a moral or a medical exemption argument, people have to be careful about the doctor-patient relationship. These entities, the businesses and the government, they're trying to build doctor-patient relationships, and that's illegal. So I encourage all those who's not going to the Telegram community page to look into these different things too, because this is a legal argument that I have heard no one present.
Yeah.
And this could be another tool in the arsenal to, continue to fight as long as we can fight.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say resistance is futile, but that's what they're trying to make it, that we have the mindset like, it doesn't make sense to keep fighting. Resistance is futile.
Yeah.
But we have to think David and Goliath. Who's going to be David to sling the stone to bring down Goliath? So that's my 2 cents.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate
Have a great night.
Have a good night. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. A lot of good points there, man. A lot of good points there. Doctors are snitches too. Yeah. And on top of that, doctors are professionals with careers and livelihoods. So they got mouths to feed. So I think it's that at the end of the day, I've heard about more physicians that have gone against their it was the Hippocratic oath to protect their clients at the expense of their jobs, or they prefer their careers over their the health of their patients. So yeah, not many, and that's where you get a chance to see who's really called to serve in that capacity of health care. Because of course, health care is not sick care. I mean, everybody who goes to the hospital, you're already sick. So it's usually the healthy people who don't go, but it's the sick care. But most of those people they're more concerned with their career and their livelihood that they've established, especially if they're up in the higher echelons of the hospital entity. They want to do what's best for their pockets because they have a life to live. So not many people are willing to lay it on the line. And so all the videos that we've seen on the alternative media sites where people walked away and they, share their story, you got to just give those people props, man, because they, not too many people, not a lot, not enough people are willing to stand up for the truth over this agenda when they know outright it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I commend those that stand in truth, man. Yeah, doctors are compromising their integrity 100%. All right, people, we're about that 53-minute mark. Let me just get ready to dial back, man. As always, it's good to connect. We touch on a lot of topics tonight. Got a lot of great thoughts in. And so what I'm going to try to do moving forward, because there's probably will be more stories to touch on. The goal is to just try to bring some of this stuff to the forefront so you guys can get a chance to chime in on it, share your thoughts on it. And, of course, I usually take whatever I see through on the headlines and turn it upside down and try to make sense of it, because everything we're being told and shown at this point is already old news when it hits the mainstream, but it's more so the agenda behind it that is worth talking about, because hopefully some people might be new to the community and they need to hear a different opinion or a different viewpoint. And then the goal, of course, is because I'm not an expert, not many experts are in the field, but we do enough digging and diving down rabbit holes to be able to point them in directions to be able to get some more credible information from people that are labeled as experts who just been shunned by the mainstream media because of what they're talking about. So Brandon B says, war is when the government tells you who the bad guy is. Revolution is when you decide that for yourself. Brandon B, that's good stuff, man. That's some good stuff. All right, people. Well, let's get ready to close out, man. The agenda is depopulation, no doubt. And according to that, what is it? I forgot the thing. I have to erase it. But the 2025 was a Diego 2025. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, as of right now, 200,000 people by 2025 are not expected to be here. And that definitely sounds like a plan to me. They were set well before now. So if that is successful, then we would definitely be living in a much different country, in a much different world. So could you imagine? I mean, I can't imagine. It's nothing I enjoy thinking about, but, seeing or being a part of a country where 2/3 of the population is gone. That's a different world we're living in. The different economy, different social structure, different political structure, you name it. It will be completely unimaginable. So hopefully that is something we don't have to worry about, but we will see. But anyway, man, the graphene part, the graphene jab. And then also in the Discord and Telegram, I put videos and stuff right there from, I think it was Stu Peters. So everybody should be on Rumble. You should be on Rumble. And if you're on Rumble, make sure you subscribe to Stu Peters' show, because he does a good job of covering all the medical professionals. And they be putting out some really good information on what's really inside those vials. And when you find out what's inside those things, or what's even possibly in them, it'll make you think twice. So for those that are not familiar, I put on the screen right here. So if you go to rumble.com, Rethinking the Dollar's on there as well. So connect with us there. But here's the Stu Peters show, and every day, all day, he had medical professions, politicians. He got Sidney Powell on there talking about dropping some bombs, and so a lot of good stuff on there. So you got to go looking for alternative narratives to the agenda. If not, they'll be feeding you lies, pure lies. Are you sure 200,000? No, I'm sorry. Are you sure 200,000 people? They say no. I'm sorry. 200 million people. I apologize. So let me pull up real quick. Let me see here. We've talked about this before, but it might be some new people. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah. So here's I just typed in Diego. Let me see if it pops up here. So here is let me open a new tab. Yeah. So here is here's that little excerpt from the page that's no longer live. So this is what I'm referring to right here. So it's just this little graph here. So this is from Diego.com. This image here was taken down, but this was last updated May 1st, 2018. This is when this was put out here. But it just says here, in 2017, population was 327, and they said they forecasting by 2025 100 million people. So that's a 227 million or so decrease in population, along with the GDP. Right now, we're about $20 trillion gross domestic product. They're saying by 2025 is going to be 2.4 trillion. So that's literally, a 90% dip in the government operations. And of course, all the GDP per capita is 24,000. Right now, we're at 59. So that means, income earned will be bare minimum on average going all the way around, letting us know that we will no longer be a service sector economy. We'll probably be back to the made in America, but yet made in America for, pennies on a dollar. And that's, with minus 2/3 of the population, society will not be stable whatsoever. Therefore, ain't no telling what that would look like if that stuff is even correct. But that's a forecast from a very credible source, because that's like a military government operation type of page there. So something I came across, I think it was like a year ago, but just worth pulling up there. So for whatever it's worth, DEA, GEL 2025 agenda, put it out there. Do some homework for yourself if you're interested. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, people, be blessed, be safe. It's always good to connect. As always, let's close out with a little bit of prayer, man. Let's turn over to the good Lord, man. And more importantly, the most important thing is to make sure you're deposited into your spirit account so you can be charged and be able to withstand the fiery darts of the enemy. You got to, strengthen your faith and whatnot. And then also all the natural elements of, staying ahead of the curve, taking care of much business as you can, food, water, shelter, all those things that you need to, buy some time, do what you got to do, people. But other than that, let's close out with some good prayer for those who want to plug in, man. I ask you to bow your head or just lift it up to the good Lord, and let's give him props where props are due. But Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather tonight as a community this Monday the 4th. We thank you for your will, your word that's a light to our path. Father, we ask that you charge us in our spirits, Father, that you allow us to draw closer to you, Father, for wisdom and guidance, and to just access your power in this day and age, Father. Give us everything that we need, Father, wisdom and insight to be able to make the right decisions. We ask that you be with those that are under pressure right now, that are being persecuted for their mere faith, Father. We ask that you would give them just courage in their hearts, Father. Allow them to continue to press forward in faith, Lord, standing on your word and your promises. And we pray that your will be done on this earth as it is in heaven, Father. We just thank you for the blood that was shed for our remission of our sins. And we just thank you, Father, for all the things that you have prepared for your church, your body. Lord, we thank you in advance. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, people. That's all she wrote. But anyway, be blessed, be safe, and back at it tomorrow. Same time, same place. And enjoy your day, people. Peace. Visit Rethinking the Dollar throughout the day, your place for news on metals, gold, crypto, you name it. Scroll down to the bottom and you get a chance to see the daily videos, the recommended videos, and more importantly, the 5 reasons to unplug from the monetary matrix, with the first one being the awakening period. Step number 1, test your dollar IQ. 10 simple questions, average is 60%, follow up with the alternative perspective with the monetary reports. Consider becoming a supporter of the Rethinking the Dollar platform via Patreon. Get a chance to hang out off air as well as additional information that can't be discussed on YouTube. Any support is helpful. With the crackdown on alternative media, the best thing to do is connect off air. Scroll down to the very bottom. You can find Rethinking the Dollar on Telegram, audio, Facebook, Twitter, Parler, you name it. The most important ones will be the email list where you can get notified weekly, the Discord page, and make sure you connect on Telegram. And last, don't forget to visit the RTD store where you can get merchandise as well as additional information and resources. And most importantly, scroll down to the bottom and get your weight up with all the limited edition rounds only available on the RTD store.